Slava was handsome but shy. Not such an unusual combination. Whenever he tried to talk to girls, he'd go red, then pale, then silent. Or he'd strain to say something clever or funny, and it would come out wrong. The girls wrote him off as slow and moved on. At 18, despite his looks, Slava was still a virgin. He was at university, a half-hour bus ride away. A punctual person by nature, he always left the house at the same time. He soon noticed that the same pretty girl seemed to ride with him regularly, and that she seemed to pay attention to him. But he was afraid it was an illusion, wishful thinking, afraid of a sharp rejection. So he never made a move. He went out of his way, in fact, to pretend he hadn't noticed her. Then chance changed everything. One morning, Slava left the house a little late, and as he came up to the stop, he could see the bus was already pulling away. He ran after it, waving frantically. The bus stopped. He squeezed aboard, still catching his breath, scanning for a seat. A man moving past him in the aisle leaned down slightly and murmured in his ear, "The girl in the gray coat. She saw you weren't going to make it and ran up to ask the driver to wait. She watches you all the time. Don't let this chance slip." Slava looked for the gray coat and found it. It was her. She was looking straight at him. Without meaning to, he broke into a wide smile. She smiled back. A surge of resolve came over him, sudden and strange. He pushed his way toward her. "Hi," he said. "Thank you for getting the driver to wait." "It was nothing. I was glad to," she smiled. "I'm Slava. I'm Tanya." And just like that, with no awkwardness at all, as if it were the most natural thing in the world, they exchanged numbers and made plans to meet. The date the next day was wonderful. They walked along the embankment, talked easily, sat in a cafe. Slava felt as though he'd known this girl his whole life. His shyness had simply evaporated. He did notice that Tanya was a rather unusual person. Her remarks were sometimes unconventional, even strange. And there was her habit of staring at him, sustained and unblinking. On their second date, they kissed. Then one day, Tanya invited him over. That morning, Slava paced his room corner to corner, whispering to himself, "Is this really going to happen? Is this actually going to happen?" That evening, he got dressed, hurried out of the house, and lied to his mother for no clear reason. Told her he was meeting classmates. Tanya answered the door, looking stunning. She wore a beautiful green evening dress, her hair pinned up in an elaborate style, a faint trace of perfume. She led him into the main room and invited him to sit at the table. They ate something light, then moved on to wine. The lights were dim, and Slava let himself sink into the atmosphere, the warmth, the romance of it all. They talked about this and that, and then simply sat looking into each other's eyes. I should do something, Slava thought. I should actually do something. Then Tanya's voice turned serious. "You know, I first noticed you a few months ago, and after that I couldn't have a moment's peace. Thank God you rode the same bus so often. I would stand there just looking at you, not daring to come over. You seemed like you were from another world, beautiful as a Greek god." "Come on," Slava said, deeply embarrassed. Strangely, the wine had gone to his head, and a heavy drowsiness was pulling at him. He had to keep fighting to stay awake. Don't take offense at what I'm about to say. I'm a person of art, and we think strangely sometimes. I was captivated by your beauty, but one thought kept poisoning it. 10 years from now, that beauty will fade. Small wrinkles, a softening figure. Luckily, my grandfather was a master craftsman. He taught me his art, how to preserve beauty for a very long time. And I'm going to preserve yours." "Your grandfather was a painter?" Slava said, his tongue thick and slow. "A sculptor?" "No," said Tanya. "He was a taxidermist. He made the most exquisite mounts.